Welcome to this webinar about Move to SaaS by the Cosmo Consult Group. I'm very happy to have my colleague Daniel Schmidt, who will talk about the general aspects of Move to SaaS from a CEO or decision maker's perspective. So yeah, Daniel, great to have you with me today.
Yeah, many thanks. I'm Daniel Schmidt, CPO, Chief Portfolio Officer, and this is how I'm responsible for our whole portfolio, offering solutions and services for you as our clients.
To also introduce myself, my name is Tobias Fenster. I'm the Chief Technology Officer, responsible for all things technology and infrastructure, and I'm happy to talk to Daniel today about the Move to SaaS offerings that we have. Daniel, to maybe start from a good starting point, can you share a bit about the general definitions, the general topics that we can see? The main things that revolve around what I'm thinking about is private cloud, public cloud, SaaS, all those things that get mentioned. How do we or how does the general public interpret them? How does that matter for our topic today?
Yes, of course, and I would like to emphasize only on these topics which are important for me as a manager, as a business leader, as an owner of a company. So if it comes to cloud, first of all, it's kind of giving the operating model of your IT in someone else's hands. These people should be experts, first of all. This is why I would like to give this kind of opportunity to those ones. And to differentiate between the private and the public cloud, because both is external managing of my IT. The private one does more focus on dedicated services and ITs. So I will contract a company managing my IT on a special server with special software. When it is required, well, there are some kind of data privacy topics, terms, or some other issues where processes are not possible running in a public cloud. If I do so, I need to invest a little bit more than in the public cloud. Public cloud is more or less from the operating model the same. We have experts running my IT, but with shared services, with shared devices, shared servers, for example, and shared instances. And this is much more cost effective than the private one. And that's already the differentiation between these two.
Now that we've seen how or what we're talking about, the other question that maybe is interesting to start with is why is now a good point to move into a cloud, into a SaaS environment? Why should I mostly think now about it? Because the topic generally isn't that new, isn't like it came up just last year, but we already are a couple of years into that journey. Still, why is it now a good moment to move there?
Well, as a business decision maker, I just realized in current times of COVID-19, working in teams, collaborating from decentralized places is kind of hassle and kind of issue if my whole organization is paper-based, to say it in that word. We just realized some of our clients have already made this step into the cloud. They managed the current pandemic quite well just because the processes are well aligned. The people can work decentralized at any time, at any place, whereas other companies are struggling with managing the mass of information to hand over the data from one to the next one. Where they do have a hassle on, definitely they lose a lot of speed just because of managing all the data management, handing over data. They have quality issues in terms of which version of the document, when have you sent it, I just read the wrong one, all of these topics. So this definitely is one of the key topics regarding this, regarding your question at that point. What else came to the point if we talk about the current pandemic and collaboration? Why now it is the best situation? Well, beside pandemic, beside collaboration, the systems, the services, the offerings are quite well designed right now. So over the last 5 years, you are not an early adapter anymore. So we have pretty excellent sustainable solutions, sustainable offerings on the pricely perspective, also really competitive. So that definitely is a kind of good time to move to the cloud, to move to SaaS right now. And last but not least, these companies are offering with special discounts right now. So if you decide now instead of 2 years, then now definitely is a better time to do so, just because of the offerings. And to be honest, I guess your peers and your employees are expecting it to do it now instead of 2 years.
Okay. So you talked about why it's now a good idea to solve the problems of today and move forward, taking advantage of the offerings that we have today. But why is it always setting me up well for the future? If I'm thinking about innovation, about the future in general, why is it a good move to think about cloud and SaaS as the business driver for the future?
Well, if I talk to business leaders, they definitely do have a kind of topic. How can I be innovative? In terms of my company. What would I like to achieve with being an innovative company? First of all, innovative products, innovative services, being more attractive at the market. How can I be innovative? The question is, do I use new, modern, state-of-the-art technology, being innovative? So this is how SaaS and cloud is defined, being on the top notch right now, or is it on premise with old software? And there definitely is a kind of misfit. So if it comes to innovation and being ahead of my competitors, I need to just face this topic. How can I migrate all the solutions into cloud? Just because it is innovative. Innovation with cloud, why is this a kind of couple? Why is this combined? Well, cloud offers a lot of services, a lot of solutions. We are talking in terms of one central platform. We are talking about collaboration. So Microsoft, for example, offered Microsoft Dynamics platform, the Power Platform. These tools and solutions and software are working together. So I can build up my process highly innovative, highly more automated than on-premise before. If it comes to innovation, there is also a kind of question about artificial intelligence, a kind of mass data management. How can I benefit from these offerings? And always cloud is the driver for AI. To be honest, the mass of data to be managed in short time is not really intelligent. But just because of the nearly the mass of services and the server of the performance in cloud, we can now calculate mass of data in seconds. Ahead of this also is artificial intelligence, where decisions and processes can be given by machines, by systems who are intelligent, who learn step by step. And what is important for me as a company, how this AI gives me a kind of benefit. Well, I can shape services and solutions more concrete. I'm ahead of the market. I have better services, better solutions, more than people just simply can invent.
Yeah, and just from a technical standpoint, to add that, it's very clear that cloud is the only option if I want to seriously move into artificial intelligence. So I think that's also, from a technical aspect, a very clear advantage of moving into the cloud.
Definitely the point. Theoretically, there might be on-premise as well, but to be honest, cloud is the only way. Exactly.
Okay, now if we're talking more in general, how does moving into the cloud make a company more attractive? Why is it a competitive advantage to have a cloud or a SaaS offering or be based on those kind of offerings?
Well, I just strived some of the topics right now, being attractive in what kind of? So being attractive for customers, being attractive for employees, or for new talents definitely is a part. So talking about these three levels, perhaps starting with customers, if I want to be an innovative and attractive company, I want to be modern, I want to be flexible, I want to be agile, fast in adoption. They are definitely what defines an attractive company, all of that what I've said. That not only attracts new customers, but definitely there is a point. Customers are looking for vendors, for suppliers, which follow also their kind of digitization, their road to digitality. So that's definitely one topic. Attractive for customers because they pay our services, our solutions as a company. so I need to do so to achieve more in the future or to just keep my business running. How can I keep the business running if I need persons, so the staff, the peer I already have employed in my company, to keep all these people? They expect that there is a kind of evolution in our technology. We need to be in touch with state-of-the-art solutions to achieve more, to utilize all of that, automate processes. So that's also attractive, not always doing the same steps as years ago, but being more modern, more attractive. So there's a kind of evolution internally. And it also has an effect for new people, for new employees I want to hire. The war of talents definitely is in common sense right now. It's not only for IT companies, not easy to find adequate people where I want to hire. So if a candidate has the option to work for a company highly modern, with innovative solutions, with cloud solutions, cloud services, automated processes, all of that, or with on-premise solutions, which are a little bit outdated, then probably the chance is higher to find people for the more cloud-oriented company than for the other. So these three perspectives definitely give a push.
Okay, so now I understood why it makes sense from a functional perspective and all the other aspects that you share. Mm-hmm. But I think the logical next question is, does it also make sense, or from a money perspective, can I even pay for this? Can I afford all the greatness that you just shared? Or how is the cost relation compared to maybe a more traditional environment?
Yeah, in many discussions, it seems to be the most important one. So besides that, there are a lot of surveys, analysis in the market, studies, all of that. So we made our own on that, based on that, to really compare apples with apples. It's not that easy to do so. We identified 5 levels out of that. So one topic definitely is license and subscription amount. We have compared hardware and maintenance for contracts 24/7. We have identified the costs for IT personnel. We have identified the costs for upgrades and updates. And last but not least, for IT and backend security. If we prioritize it in terms of where are the most benefits out of that, and that's something I want to emphasize already right now. We just had a long-lasting period over 10 years, compared it for existing customers who have already bought the software, the services, the solutions, and only just paying enhancement right now. But also we have focused on new clients, which are facing Microsoft as one of their potential solution provider for the future. So both existing clients and new one. For both, on a 10 years perspective, we identified a benefit more than 60% on every of these 10 years. And if you then looked into the details, definitely IT personnel is a cost driver. To be honest, if you have already your peers, your people internally, you cannot really get rid of them at once. But you can give them more attractive tasks and activities. You can let them to new services. I talked about innovations to make a company more modern and attractive. So definitely there's room for improvement. It comes to hardware. If you compare hardware, definitely normally our clients run servers at their own as well. And then not always be a need for substituting these, replacing them, and lift all the solutions, all the services into the cloud. But it will come to one point when they are getting outdated and needs to be replaced. But also updates definitely is a cost driver. Being up to date, is it possible to follow the update strategies of the software vendors and software suppliers? The back-end or IT security is a topic. I need to do much more if I want to keep the data on premise, to secure, to protect my environments. So details are in our own study, and we will come to this point later out, how you can just read these details, this study, this analysis as well. So these 5 levels definitely are important to compare apples with apples. And as mentioned, more than 60% for every of these 10 years is definitely a driver. So TCO for SaaS, for cloud services, has a big benefit.
Mm-hmm. You talked about the benefits now, so the flip side of that coin probably would be the risks that I run into. Do you see anything that I would probably run into if I don't move into the cloud? Any risk that I can mitigate by moving into a cloud and SaaS environment?
Well, I just strived in terms of risk, the data security, that definitely is a topic. We just talked about security itself, but security, keeping your data secure, is now a common sense, a common understanding. In the cloud, it's much more secure than on-premise, just because of much higher standards, much more expertise, better services, better solutions, better architecture, all of that. This is definitely kind of risk, and also for me as a company, what comes along with this kind of risk? I want to be attractive, I mentioned this before. I want to get new customers. How do I get new customers? To have a sustainable business, I need to be up to date. Do I win new clients if I'm outdated in terms of technology, or is it also a risk staying in on-premise? Depending the business models, definitely there will be for some minor industries and markets a chance, but for most of them it's more being fast forward, adapting, and this is why SaaS definitely is less a risk than a chance. And last but not least, I need to face also one question. If all the surroundings are moving in direction to SaaS, what happens if I want to keep dedicated solutions like, for example, the ERP on-premise, and I need to connect this ERP on-premise with services in the cloud? I need to open my network. This is also kind of risk as well, so only a few out of many risks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You also briefly touched upon the topic of upgrades, more from a cost perspective. This is typically something that you're seeing a lot when SaaS and cloud environments are discussed. So can you maybe share some more aspects why being in a SaaS and a cloud environment has benefits from an upgrade perspective, not only from the cost side that you already shared?
If it comes to SaaS and cloud, there is one new phrase or one new trendy topic sometimes mentioned, and then I wanted to give it a chance. It's called the one version approach. So what does one version means in terms of upgrade updates? One version means always being on the current version. There is only one version, the valid one. All my services and solutions are on this current version. What's the benefit on that? Well, there are no issues, no misunderstanding between solutions and products. All the products can communicate with each other. So the interoperability of these products and services are possible. So I can connect every product, for example, from the Microsoft stack. So we talked about interoperability and platform, for example, Microsoft Dynamics platform or the Power Platform. If I am on one version, I just can activate a solution and it's able to run, to communicate with all the other services. That definitely is one point. One version, being in one version, will reduce my effort to migrate the existing business IT. So beside the one version, being always on the one version, let's looking back. So if we just have in mind the last 15, 20 years, all companies need to calculate when should they go for the next update. Have they patched all hotfixes? Have they migrated every version to the next one? To be honest, most of our clients haven't done this just because of the workloads, the efforts. But being in the cloud, and I will receive monthly and half a year major or minor updates, I'm always on one version, I'm always up to date. There is no need for these big migration projects anymore. So it's much more cost effective if I do these small steps and I do it permanently than having every 5 to 8 years, 6 months with migration project. And it's also kind of keeping your people, your employees calm, because it's not something really attractive to ask your peers for the next migration project, extra workshops and all of that. And what is also, I think, worth to mention it here. I just talked to one of our clients, a manager, who mentioned, I want to have the current version on every software in my company. And I asked him, why is it that important for you? to run all this software on the current version. You mentioned it has kind of change management, a kind of culture. I want to achieve more if I engage all my employees to always face this new software and services. Why is it important for me as a company? Well, if I engage every employee working with the current version, they will identify there are new tools, new services, new possibilities. They will innovate the internal process. They will also innovate the products and services outside. So it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm. You talked a lot about the benefits from a customer perspective, but as I have you here as our Chief Portfolio Officer, can you maybe also share some insights why it matters for us as Cosmo from a portfolio perspective, and what in turn is the benefit for our customers?
Well, as mentioned, and you just emphasized on that portfolio management, we do have a lot of own IP, a lot of own products, and we need to manage all these versions as well. If it comes to the point one version or many versions, we need to keep all these many versions, or especially for the past, we had to keep the software and solutions for all these versions in stack. We need to manage, to update for all these, to offer updates for all of these old versions. That definitely is workload which needs to be managed. Looking forward more to the future, more to the current state, our strategy is one version, definitely, we agree to that. If we only offer one version, there is kind of movement of existing workloads, of capacity from managing all the old versions to innovating new solutions and services. So I can achieve much more moving these workloads, these capacities, let's say these developers, these consultants, to invest more in new technology, innovation. And that's something what we also want to give to our clients as a promise. We can invest much more in innovation, so they will benefit from this as well.
Okay, thanks. Now that we've seen why it makes sense to move forward, what are the steps? What can I do as a customer to move forward and bring my company or specific workloads into a cloud, into a SaaS environment?
Well, that's definitely some of the last but not the least questions in this current webinar. And that's our offering I want to give you as an auditor. So if we look at our clients, definitely one thing is something we identify. Nearly no project is similar, nearly no client is similar as the other one. So we have established cloud assessments, so workshops, just looking on the current scenario, on the current business IT. How is your IT running right now? What are the processes? What are the data you need to migrate? What is your strategy? What are your markets? To do so, we have dedicated cloud assessment workshops. Just get in touch with us. We need to shape this especially for you. We have a lot of templates. We had all these tools. We had the expertise because we are doing it many, many times. But we need to just identify where are you right now, what is your strategy, where do you want to go. Another thing is there are white papers existing where you can self-inform. There are additional webinars, so we defined a landing page. Just visit this landing page. There are all the details placed, positioned just for you. Consume it there or get in touch with us, with your local touch point, with your contact person, with your key account manager, with your project manager, with your sales or support, or last but not least, just reach out to us. We are here for you as well.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks a lot for the interesting insights around the topic. Thanks to all of you for listening and watching today. I'm very happy to be able to share that insight, and I would be even happier to help you to move into the SaaS, into the cloud world.
And I just would like to close up with the slogan, keep calm, move to the cloud. Many, many thanks for listening.
Thank you.